Hey folks, happy Saturday. I know a Saturday episode. What? Well, this is the intro again. So my special guest is none other than Romeo. Romeo. That was Shelley's boyfriend at the time of her death. Somebody that the police interviewed 6 times. Okay. So I'm just gonna give you some tips, some heads up. Things could get emotional. Um, you could feel something. You might hear some people feeling something. I'm also going to release the video, first time video, onto my YouTube channel probably, or see some clips. Well, if you want to watch it instead, that'll come out maybe today. I don't know. It's Saturday. I'm supposed to be with my family, doing family stuff, but it's raining, right? So yeah, they be alright. Yeah. So you might hear some names, just first names. Drops a lot of first names. Want you to know that the Matt he's referring to, that's his friend. That is Mr. Slushy. Mr. Slushy equals Matt. Um, so remember that part. And just anything said here is the opinion of Romeo and Romeo only. Um, we will not be held liable at Under the Tree or Dr. IBS Entertainment Group for anything said. That's a disclaimer. But he was a great guest, very well spoken. Really appreciated having him on there. So enjoy this episode, y'all. Bye. Hey, folks, this is Ian again, Ian Bryce with Under the Tree. And I did tell you all we were going to have a very special guest, didn't I? Would you like to go by your name, or we have referred to you as Romeo in the podcast? Just code name, just random code name.
No, I don't go by Romeo.
Okay, what would you like us to call you?
Bobby's fine.
Bobby's fine. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I'm good with that.
Okay, I know. Thank you for coming, Bobby. Appreciate you here.
Appreciate the invite.
Yeah. So I just have some questions for you, man.
All right.
You have to tell me if you can answer, so we can skip it. Won't take any offense, anything like that. All right.
Yep.
So first, just we're trying to really get to know Shellie. I didn't know her. Like, I knew her through passing. Knew a lot of people that knew her. I didn't know her as a person.
Right.
So can you just tell me, what was she like as a person? How long did you date? How'd you meet?
Well, it all started when I was working at Burger King. It was 2004. Started working there maybe like January or something like that. And she was working there. And, we had brief conversations when we were working and stuff like that, but nothing got really serious until like she had because I had asked her about it, and she was still dating somebody. I think the guy mad or whatever. And so then after later down the road, I can't remember the dates because I'm just getting too old.
That's fine.
To remember
That's
stuff.
fine.
So basically I had asked her, if she wanted to hang out or something like that, and we ended up making plans and went somewhere. I don't remember exactly where, but then we went to her house, and then this kind of just asked me, was like, "Are you trying to date me?" I'm like, "I thought you were still with him." Well, he broke up. Blah, blah, blah. I think I'm ready now. So that's kind of how it got started. So it was like January, February, something like that, 2004, and we dated until her passing.
It's over a year.
Yeah. So like, we dated for about a year. I felt more than happy to propose to her, and I did it like maybe in the summer or something like that. I can't remember when the heck. My memory is so bad, but yeah. So we dated off and on and stuff like that, and everything was fine.
What kind of things did you do together? What did she like to do?
Oh, we did a lot of
food,
things.
what?
We did a lot of things together. We hung out with friends. She introduced me to some friends. One friend of mine that we used to hang out with is Matt from work. He worked with us at Burger King. I had a couple friends of mine, Jeremy that I used to hang out with too. I introduced them. Either just riding around the car, hanging out, friends' houses, listening to music.
What kind of music? What is she
Rap,
like?
R&B. I mean, from Evanescence to she was big time Evanescence.
I love that.
She actually got me into it. I mean, I've heard
Amy Lee's great.
I've heard Amy Lee so many times. I love her voice.
Yeah.
Absolutely love her voice. Because, like I said, I'm an artist. I'm a music artist. So, I would love to do a song with her. But not to get off topic. But she, I know one song of hers, Evanescence. Obviously, I grew up on "Bring Me to Life," but she introduced me to the whole like the album. And so, like, because she got it for Christmas, and then we played it in the car, and then I just kept listening and listening. And we would burn CDs, make and stuff like that. Put different tunes on there, and just the old days where you could pop a CD in the car and just go. Yeah, because I had
put some marker on the top.
Yeah, because I had my '94 Chevy Crapalier. I'm gonna call it the Crapalier because I don't like Chevy.
I had a Pontiac.
So I had that car. It was a white car at the time. We were driving it. That was our. But beforehand, but when we started dating, I had a Bronco. But then that wasn't really my car, and I was trying to get my own car because I got my license. I was just getting into having my license that year, in like 2004, I believe. And
you guys are the same age, right?
I want to. You're making me wow.
We were 05.
Let me see. I don't remember. Let's see, 1980s. Yeah, she was born in 86.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was born October 22nd, 1986. I was born in 1986. So I think, we are about a few months apart though. So I turned, what, 18?
Right, because we graduated the summer she died.
I can't
remember. We graduated in June. She died at August. So it was the same for you?
Yeah, how old was she? I can't remember.
Yeah, 18?
She was 18?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember. God, I'm just getting so old. So so that's
guests.
Yeah, so that's basically what we did. We rode around, listening to music, stuff like that. Hung out at her parents' house. Either if I could hang out with her house, she'll come over to mine. We'll watch wrestling. We're big into wrestling.
Oh, WWF?
Yep, WWF, stuff like that.
She have a favorite wrestler, or what would you guys like?
She liked John Cena. I like John Cena. I was a big Batista fan. This is when they first started getting their push.
Right.
So I was a big Batista fan. She was a big Cena fan. We actually did a couple meet and greets. Like I took her to a couple meet and greets. If I can't, I'm trying to remember the first one. I think the first one I took her to was Randy Orton down Norfolk.
Uh-huh.
She went Randy Orton. He was a complete ass. Complete jerk. Like he was just hitting on her the whole time when I was trying to ask him a question. So that I met Christy Hemme, I believe, and I think that was the only ones that I took her to meet. But yeah, we met a couple of wrestlers and stuff like that. So we were big into that. I don't know if I got her into it. I don't know if she remembers she wanted to. I think she just kind of grabbed onto it because I was watching it. And so they kind of gravitated to her. So we had a lot of things that we did, and a lot of things that were in common. Mm-hmm. Overall, she was a great person, great heart. She did have her issues. Like I said, she had her, she had anger issues. Some people had diagnosed her bipolar. Mm-hmm. Because she would get angry over the littlest things. Trust me. I mean, it was crazy.
Alrighty, so. We'll go back to the anger. So people have said that she, was in therapy. Unsure, as to why, but
when I was around her, she wasn't in therapy.
Okay.
But she could have been, before I met her.
She on any medication then,
She on any medication? I don't remember if she was. God, it's so long ago, dude. I don't recall her being on any medication. Okay. I may be in the past, but I don't recall any of her taking any medication, for sure. But she did have, like I said, she's known to be bipolar.
Right. Could you give me an example of like how she acted out, like to show you that make you think?
Well, I mean, for instance, like we would be riding in the car, and it was something like I'm trying to remember a time where she got all upset. I don't know. It was a fight about some radio that we had. And she bought me a radio because
like for your car?
For my car, yeah. Okay. And we had it installed, and we're doing fine and stuff like that. And then we had a spit spat one night, and then she ripped it right out of the faceplate. When we had the radios with the faceplate, I remember those. She ripped it off and took it from me.
The whole radio?
Yeah. And so, not the whole thing, just the faceplate. Because you take the faceplate off, and you can't work it. Right. It's stuck. So she took it off so that I couldn't do anything. And then she ran off with it in her yard because we were in our driveway and we were just having a little fight. And she got out of the car, and then I was trying to get it back from her. And like she would get violent. She would kick me, slap me, hit me. But not once did I react to it. Because I'm the type of person that I would rather be labeled a pussy than a woman beater.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We appreciate that here.
I just do not. I do not condone any kind of man that puts their hands on a female. And I have never done that when I was with Mary. I've never done that, period, when I was with any female, ever.
Good for you, brother.
That's just not my nature. And I've always told this, that I've always been honest with people. I've never had a violent side to where I'm going to hurt somebody, ever. I may get angry, and I do have an anger problem. I will admit that. But I've never got to the point where I'm going to hurt somebody.
Especially with female.
Exactly. Never been that way. I know how to control myself to that degree. And she did some really crazy stuff. Like I said, she had issues. And it was like a love-hate relationship at this, at the same time. I cared about her. Right. I didn't like, I was under a rock and a hard place. I was in high school. You don't trust anybody in high school to go with. I didn't have any luck in high school dating people anyway. And
you went to different high schools too, right?
Yeah, she went to FC and I went to Greek.
Okay.
But I think she graduated. Yeah, she was out of high school before me because I think she took her GED. I graduated, but I didn't graduate the level I was supposed to. But I'm not going to get to that.
Okay, because we were wondering that if, did she graduate early or did she drop out?
She dropped. I think she dropped out and got her GED. Okay. Because her dad. I remember her dad talking about that, and I remember her telling me that she got her GED. So,
do you remember those like during you guys working together, or she was like, "Hey, by the way, I dropped"?
No. This was definitely when we were together. Okay. But this is, I think she got her GED way before I knew her.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah. So that's that. I mean, that's pretty much a rundown of of things that went down. Like I said, there was an incident where some girl had called me on phone. And matter of fact, I think that was the last night. That was that night that I saw her. Or, I was at work. I was working at JCPenney's at the time. It was like 7 o'clock at night. Why I remember that, I don't know. Got off at 7 o'clock.
And we're talking that's a Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I had mentioned, and I had gotten a call from her and telling her she was off work. And I was coming to get her and Matt from work, from Burger King, because I was getting off of work. I came from Lynn Haven all the way down, and I picked them up, and she got in the car. She got real quiet, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. Something was bothering her. I didn't know what. And then I guess, like, after we dropped him off, we were driving back to my house. And that's when the talk started. She was like, "So when were you going to tell me you talked to some girl and told you love her?" I said, "Who said this and where did this come from?" She was like, "Oh, Jeremy told me that you overheard the conversation." I was like, "Well, he's got this thing all twisted." I said, "You see, this girl had called me. It was my ex, okay? And from like 5th grade. Okay, child. And we were still friends, right? And she had called me and told me, that she loved me. talked before we hung up.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like that. Like I wasn't cheating on her. I wasn't doing that. I'm all faithful.
It was kind of just like a sister leeway of like,
It was,
I love you.
yeah, like I've known you for a long
Right.
time. I love, I love you, dude. Like, that's kind of what it was. And she overheard Jeremy overheard the conversation. He was at my house and he told Mary about it. And then Mary approached me about it and discussed it with me. And that's kind of where the fight started in the car. Mm-hmm. And she had turned the key off that night. She had turned the key off while I was in drive on South Plaza, I think it was, and tried to get out of the car and start walking. I told her to get back in, and I tried to discuss with her. We went back to my house, hashed it out. Then it just kept getting more. I got to the point where I was tired of it. Yeah, because I'm like, you don't trust me. Obviously it's over. I was at that point, at that fight, I was like done. I was just gonna like end the relationship and be done with it because I just got tired of the fight. So I was not having it. She was sitting here trying to apologize to me, and I wasn't even acknowledging that I was just done. Mm-hmm. So she was crying, saying, I'm sorry, this, that, and the third. And then she had walked out, had a cigarette, came back upstairs again and tried to talk to me again, and I still wouldn't have it. Next thing I know is she leaves, grabs her bike from my house, and drives and pedals all the way to, I don't know, she called me on the phone and said she was at Matt's. What time of night is this? It was like 10:30, something like at night. It was something about that time. So I was like, you rode your bike all the way there? I was like, what the heck? So then I'm sitting here talking on the phone, and then she had called me. She was like, I'll call you when I'm when I'm heading home. So I could hear her pedaling on her bike on the phone. She called me on the phone. Mm-hmm. And I know that she's pedaling. And I know she got home is because there's this big brass thing on her door where you knock on it. Mm-hmm. And she had knocked on it. And I heard that. So I knew that I could hear her breathing through the phone. I could hear her pedaling and getting home. So, I had called her, and I mean, we were kind of just talking it out. And I said, when you get home, I'll come over and talk to you. We'll try to fix this. Mm-hmm. So she got home, and then she was like, you go up to come over. And so I was on my way over there. This was maybe like 11, 12, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I left. We sat there. She put me in the guest room, and I had told her, we had talked in the bedroom calmly. I'm like, look, you got to know that you can trust me. I said, this whole thing was blown out of proportion, but I can't take this fighting anymore. I said, if you can't trust me, we don't have a relationship. There's got to have key to a relationship, and the key to a relationship is trust. So that's what I told her. And we were sitting in the guest room, and I remember it very vividly. And, we everything we hashed out and everything. And that night, like I said, that when we had that fight in my house, mm-hmm. When she in the car, when she pulled not the backtrack, but when she pulled faceplate, when she pulled the key out of the ignition, mm-hmm. and it was rolling while I was in drive. Mm-hmm. She had took her dang rings off and put them in my console and left them there. Totally forgot they were there. And so they were in my car the night when she left. Mm-hmm. And so when I got there that night to try to talk to her when I was in the guest bedroom, and I had told her, hey, we fixed things. We started hashing things out and talking. And she's like, I apologize. Da, 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 da. I was like, well, I'm sorry. I didn't want to just act like I didn't care anymore. I just got tired of just not fighting with you. So we hashed everything out. Everything was fine. And then, she said that she needed cigarettes that night. And I had told her, I was like, can I just get up for you in the morning? I said, it's late. I have to be at work in the morning. I'll just get up for you tomorrow. Just wait, please. And she was like, all right. And so, and then she was like, can I have my rings back? I was like, you're the one that took them off. Mm-hmm. I didn't throw them at you. I didn't take them from you. I said, they're actually in my car. I forgot you left them in there. Mm-hmm. So I came back to my car. She put them back on.
So one of these rings was like an engagement ring?
Yeah. Okay. And so I enter my car, I give him back to her, she put him back on, walking up to her steps, and I was in the driveway, and I kissed her. I said bye. She said, call me when you get home, and then she mentioned the cigarettes thing again. She was like, I was like, baby, can you just wait? I was like, I'll get it to you tomorrow. I said, I promise. It's too late for this. I'm tired. Boy, do I ever regret that. So I left her house completely fine. We were fine. No argument. We solved everything. I left.
This is the
home.
fight that the police are referring to, right? That was
Right?
resolved.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And this is where people get it twisted, especially Ivan. God.
I'm calling Clark Kent for me. If you don't mind.
Yeah. Well,
He has enough money to sue.
Captain
Yeah.
Sabo. So I went back to my house, and I forgot to call her, so she called me on my house phone, and I was laying in bed, and I noticed the call. It was like 1:26 in the morning or some shit. And I noticed the call. It say Shellie Carson on the caller ID. It's burned in my memory because that was the last call that she ever called me. So I called me, told me, she's like, how's that guy? I said, I'm home. I'll see you in the morning. She was like, I'm about to go to bed. I'll talk to you more. I love you. I would never thought that would be the last time I ever spoke to her again. So then I hung up, thinking that everything was fine. Then I go downstairs. Well, no, then I sleep. I was sleeping. I'm going through the night. Wake up the next morning, like in a good mood. Didn't know me, had no idea. I'm on my way to work. I remember calling my mom and
What time is this right now? When you're
Jesus. 8?
Okay.
8 or 11. I can't remember, dude. It was like 8 or 11, I think. Oh, man. It was sometime in the morning. Okay. I know that because I told her I had to work in the morning. So I was on my way to JCPenney's, and then my boss was bringing me up. What was it? I was in the men's department, and I was working there for a little bit. And so my boss comes down maybe like a few hours later and says, Bobby, I need you to come up to the office with me. I'm sitting here thinking I got in trouble for a bad check or something, right? I'm like, is everything all right? She's like, no. She's like, everything's fine. Da, da, da. And then she started talking to me about how good I'm doing at my job and this, that, and third. I'm just like, this might be a good thing.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's nice random feedback.
I walk in that office and 2 cops are sitting there, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I wrote a bad check. And that's the only thing I could think of, because when she said she was going to bed, I had thought that she actually went to bed. I walk in the office, and they're like, "Are you Mr. Da?" He's like, "Come here, sit down." And that's when they told me that he said, "I have some disturbing news to tell you about Shellie Carson." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "I was like, is she okay?" She said, "No, she's not okay. She's deceased." And I lost it. I said, "How? In her neighborhood? Like, in her house?" Because she told me she was going to bed that night. I was like, how is this even possible? They said, yeah, she was in her neighborhood. I was like, and that's when I found out that she obviously didn't stay home. And that she went back out and got cigarettes, and I had no idea. No idea. Until I talked to Matt. Matt is the one, member I told you that we were friends with. That's her ex. He was the one that worked at 7-Eleven.
I called him Mr. Slushy.
When I left JCPenney's, I had my mom pick me up. My mom and dad picked me up. I couldn't even talk. I was like so broken to where I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand. I couldn't talk. I couldn't even think. I was just so destroyed.
The shock.
I didn't know what to think. I'm like, you never thought something would happen to you where you're one minute you're here with somebody, and the next day and the next minute they're gone. I never thought that would happen, and it's not a good feeling to have. So we left JCPenney's. I went the back way. I mean, like through the stairwell and stuff like that, not through the store. I couldn't have people seeing me the way I was. We drove down the boulevard. They were taking me home, and I had called Matt on his phone. And when I spoke to Matt, like before this phone call, like after the phone call, and when I had talked to him, he told me that when I saw you call, because Mary didn't show up for work, I knew something was wrong. He looked, he's like, because she didn't show up for work.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I called him, he said, Bobby, what is going on? I was like, I just couldn't even talk and get the words together. I said, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I said, Mary, she's gone, man. I'm like, somebody took her life, dude. Like, which I'm confused. I was like, dude, what happened? Because she told me she was going to sleep last night. She was like, Bobby, this is what I need to tell you. She actually went out and got cigarettes last night. And you know how much guilt I had over that?
I can imagine.
When I could have stopped her from going out, I had so much guilt for a long time for that. I'm like, if I would have just got her cigarettes, she would have never got whoever these monsters were.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just it's a little emotional, but so like I had so much guilt for a long time for that, and I almost killed myself drinking because of the depression, because of that guilt. I had that burden for a long time. I didn't know how to handle myself in grief, and I thought drinking my pain away was the right thing to do. And it was like 2005, and end of 2005, 2006, I was heavily drinking, and I just didn't care anymore. I didn't know how to deal with grief, and I held that grief for a long time. I held that for a very long time. I blamed myself. I sat here and told myself, I was like, if I'd have done this, if I'd have done that, and then when the cops had asked me, if I felt responsible, of course I felt responsible because I should have taken her.
Yeah.
And they were like, you shouldn't have some kind of guilt like that. And I'm like, I don't appreciate y'all sitting here trying to twist my words. I sitting here told you that I was supposed to take her to get a cigarette. She had asked me and I denied it. I said, I said, put yourself in my shoes. How would you feel? You would feel like you would have changed the situation and what happened. Because there's no reason that she would have went out, so therefore she would have been okay. Because somebody was out that night, apparently. And it baffles me. Absolutely baffles me that nice of a neighborhood, somebody could do something like that. So, yeah, I had no idea. I went to sleep thinking that she went to bed.
So let's talk about these detectives. So what?
Oh my
This is also, they said they interviewed you 6 times.
Oh my God.
Most people would say, what did they not get the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth? So please,
let's just say
please tell me how that went.
Let's just say that I ran through my story about 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
Same thing. Nothing changed. My story did not change. How I'm telling you is what I told them.
Mm-hmm.
And they just wanted to reiterate and try to get me to stumble on to see if I could catch and miss something and try to change my story. It wasn't changing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why didn't they get the picture, but I offered them, like I said, they came over, they talked to me and gave me all this information. I told them, they asked me who did I think who had done it. I said, there's only 2 people in mind that I think that would have done it. I said, because there was the guy that she took to court. Mm-hmm. And I actually went to her court date. He threatened to kill her family, mm-hmm. and supposedly raped her, mm-hmm. and stalked her behind Burger King at work and stuff like that. Because sometimes she'll sneak out from Burger King and go give him money. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea this was going on. I thought she was cheating on me. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where some of our fights were, because I didn't know what was going on.
So do you know who that guy was?
Yeah, his name was Francis, a.k.a. Dunn. Mm-hmm. He lived right behind the Malibu Palms, which right there is behind the Burger King. Mm-hmm. And he would be in the neighborhood. And I guess one time she was on her break, came back, or on her way back from, I don't remember where she was coming from. I think he went to her house or something. And he had pinned her up against the fence, mm-hmm. like this. Had a hand on her neck and all. Apparently, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. This is what she was telling me.
This is while you're dating, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so she did that, and he threatened to kill her family, kill this, kill that, right? Mm-hmm. She was shooken up. She went home. I was on my way back that day after that happened, and I had like turned on to Malibu, Palm. I don't remember that street. But it's behind the Burger King right there. It's where the Honda dealership is, and that
Right.
street, and that. So I was turning on there, and some guy had flagged me down to stop, and I'm like an idiot. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the problem is?
Mm-hmm.
Got out of my car, and he was like, I need an honest to God. I said, you don't know. He's like, do you know who I am? I was like, no. He was like, I'm done. I'm like, Mary's boyfriend. I'm like, the what?
Mm-hmm.
And then he was, because I was on the phone with her while I stopped,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he was just like, I swear to God, do not lie to me. Are you dating her? Blah, 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 blah. And he's just put me on a spot. I thought he was going to pull out a gun and shoot me there
Mm-hmm.
or kill me or something because he did not like me. I guess he was obsessed with her. He was like, and she's on the phone telling me the whole time, don't listen to him. That's not true. It's not true. I'm not, it is, da, 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 da. Then come to find out, he finally gets arrested because I guess she put out a APB on him or something like that. And they got him, or she pressed charges and they came and found him and locked him up. So meanwhile, we're
On
going
rape
to court.
charges?
No. It was an assault charge.
Okay.
Assault and battery, threatened as attention to kill or something. I don't know all the charges, but I know assault and battery. So that day, when her court date came out, I told her I was going to go with her and support because she wasn't really happy about seeing him. She was nervous as hell. So we went to court. We waited all day. I mean, the court said it was supposed to be at 8:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. We sat there till 4 in the morning. 4 in the afternoon.
Always that shit, Virginia Beach. Always doing the shit to people.
4 in the afternoon just to have a court date, and it finally got done. And we were home. I thought we were good. We were celebrating. We went to have ice cream at McDonald's. We were just happy because he was in jail. Nobody to bother her no more.
So do you know what he got sentenced to? Or he just got convicted?
No, I don't remember what his sentence was. I know I was in court when he sentenced him. I just don't remember. It's been so long, dude. Yeah. Like, my God, you're asking me 2004 to 5. I had to be like late 2004 or something. But I don't remember, dude. But yeah, he got locked up. Thought that was the end of that. So I told the cops, I said, that's the only person to my mind that would honestly be capable of doing something like this.
And he was out at that time, right?
I had no idea. Mm-hmm. They said that he was incarcerated. Mm-hmm. They already looked into it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dang on it, man. And so then I was like, okay, well then I don't know if it's not him. He had to call and hit on her. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm like, yeah, it's some movie stuff, but it can happen.
Now, was this an older gentleman?
I'm like, he was in a gang.
Okay.
Apparently. So and apparently Shellie was in a gang too. I didn't know. I've been hearing
the media loves saying that.
So I can't confirm it, but she, there was a lot of talk that she was. I mean, I think I remember her telling me a little bit about it, but whether it was true or not, I don't know. So that's the only person that I had in mind that could have done something like that. And they looked to like, well, we looked in that situation, and we could tell that he was already locked up, they're incarcerated. I'm like, well, shit. I say, well, then if it's not him, then it's got to be the other guy at Burger King. Mm-hmm. And this was a different dude. His name was Tim or something like that. Mm-hmm. Because Tim had wrote Mary a love letter mm-hmm. behind my back mm-hmm. and gave it to her at work. I had no idea.
And you're all coworkers, right? And
then I get to her house and she said, I need to show you something. I was like, why are you upset? And she had showed me. And I had read the letter. And I'm like, this is obsessive. Mm-hmm. I don't remember in detail what it said. All I know is I love you. I've loved you my whole life. Blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. We work together. I can't stop thinking about you. Right? So then, I don't know. I I think I approached him at work or something like that. And I said, yo, what, you know, I'm with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is absolutely disrespectful. So I approached him out, I talked to him about it. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, he tried to play it off like he was mad.
He's like, what letter?
So then I walked off, and he takes the hamburger tray and just goes wham on the floor. And then they sent him home. That was the last time I seen him. So I guess he didn't like being called out. Find out, you know, try to keep it his business, but I was already knowing where it was going on. But those are the only two that I could think of. Like I said, she didn't have no issues with nobody.
Okay, so they, you know, media always says that Shellie had a lot of partners, you know, wink, wink, a lot of friends. I'm assuming those two are included. Was there anybody else that, you know, might have been obsessed with her, liked her like that?
Not that I'm aware of. Like I said, she had her ex Matt, which they stayed friends. To my knowledge, I don't know if they, you know, whether they did something behind my back. I don't know. I can't confirm that. But no, like I said, that was the only thing that I know of. But back to the whole detective thing, like I said, they questioned me many times, tried to get me to change my story. Wasn't gonna happen. Then they started being obsessive and coming around. Now, mind you, they had asked me, I had told them, now, if I had something to hide, right, why would I tell the cops and volunteer you my fingerprints?
Right, let me lawyer up.
Volunteer you my DNA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, well, can I look at the clothes that you were wearing that night? I said, sure, why not? I'm like, I'm inviting you in my house. If I had something to hide, I wouldn't be doing that. So I did that. I think they were going to leave me alone. Then they started getting obsessive, coming around, stalking me. I would leave my house. They would be on a corner of a place where were not even far away from my house, just looking at me, you know, and keep an eye on me. I'm like, man, this is getting to be ridiculous.
Was it the same detectives, or they just?
Yeah, it was Detective Gonda and Detective Seabold. Okay. Little fat rear end. I'm sorry, but I can't stand him. Gonda was a complete jerk off. Like, he had this he was irritated so bad with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had this cockiness to him. Like, I'm right, you're wrong, you know, stuff like that. So they started coming around, peeping in my car, you know, not inside the car, but outside the windows. When I'm like I was actually at a meet and greet for John Cena that day. I was out, was it military, Chesapeake Square, I think. And I was just trying to get my mind off what happened, because this was only 2 days after this happened. And like I said, I had bought Raw tickets for me and Mary to go to. It was that Raw on August 25th, I think. August 20th. A couple days after she passed. And we had 2 tickets to go to Raw at the Hamden Coliseum. I didn't want to go anymore because it wasn't with her. Right. This whole thing screwed me up so bad where I wasn't even thinking about it. And so they had that going on, and then they had the meet and greet as well, because John Cena went out there. So we went to meet him. I brought my friend with me. And my friend had told John Cena, which is the craziest thing. I didn't even know what this all happened. He was like, he just went over. He just lost his girlfriend. He was murdered. Blah, blah, blah. And I get up there to see him. And he said, "Hey, I'm sorry about your loss." And I'm like,
"You're like, who the fuck told John Cena?"
Like, who told John Cena? What the heck happened? Yeah. And it did. He's like, "Yeah, your boy told me about it." He was like, "Yo, you're welcome to come chill with me until this whole thing's over with."
Damn.
So I got to chill with him until the whole meet and greet was over. And it wasn't like meet and greet and then out. I got to chill with him in the back, see what he was doing and everything, and talk.
That's awesome, dude.
So that it kind of lifted my spirits a little bit, you know, not to make me think of what was going on. Yeah. And then when I got back, I was at Chick-fil-A, and my sister called me. He said, "You want to get home? You got cops over here looking in your car." I get home and I flip my lid. I'm like, "Yo, what are y'all doing on my property? Like, y'all don't have a warrant?" I said, y'all are looking at my property, looking through my car. I said, I ain't got nothing to hide. I just told y'all. I volunteered everything for you. And then, they tricked me one night and they had me come to the station with them, right?
Like you drove the car through?
Yeah, they had put me and they sat me in the chair. They strapped the little things on me and had a lie detector test on me. Well, I passed everything, but only the part where I said, did I feel responsible? And I told them, yes, I felt responsible. They've known this because I didn't take her to get cigarettes. Mm-hmm. They said, well, your body sure knows how to lie. Can't take a lie. I'm like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm telling you the truth. They tried to get me to confess to something that I did not do. Had those kind of lights in your face. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm done with this conversation. I said, I'm getting a lawyer. I'm not doing this anymore. I said, I have nothing to hide. I literally told y'all.
Right.
And so I said, I'm done with this. Take me to home. I said, I don't have nothing to speak to y'all about. Mm-hmm. They took me home. I didn't speak to them ever since.
What interview was that? Number 2, 3?
Fuck. 8, 9, I don't know, dude. Like, they just kept coming around. Okay. So then I was done with them. I had gotten a lawyer to protect my innocence.
Yeah, you should.
I went down there with my mom and dad. They said, we're getting you a lawyer because we're not having this.
Yeah.
You had nothing to do with it. And I know I did. On God's witness. So I went down there to Norfolk, got some lawyer down there. I can't remember the name. And to protect my innocence and all that. And then they came around again. I wouldn't answer the door.
Right. Yeah, Lord.
And then I get a call from her mom, or Shellie's mom, and was like, hey, why don't you cooperate with these detectives? They just want to ask you a question. I said, no. I said, they've harassed me so many times.
Yeah.
I'm done with them. They need to get some new detectives on the case because they're going about this the wrong way. Mm-hmm. They're looking in the direction of where the case is not supposed to go. Mm-hmm. I was like, if you guys want to look at a criminal, don't look in my direction because this is not me. So I had told I was like, I'm not talking to him. They said, I want to talk about something about a necklace. Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I said, I don't have nothing to say to him. Mm-hmm. Maybe like a month later or 2, I don't know. They come up to my house and
these aren't appointments. They just come.
I can't remember how this all went down, but I had told them that I was like, take my fingerprints. Mm-hmm. Swab me for DNA. Mm-hmm. Get it out the way. Ever since that happened, I ain't never heard back from them. Mm-hmm. They were gone. And then later down the road, I find out that there's new detectives on the case, mm-hmm. which I had given them over to some more evidence. I mean, if you wanted me to get into that part, I can.
Go ahead.
But I didn't want to interfere with your question, with the detectives thing. So, years later down the road, I like I said, this whole Justice for Shellie starts. Oh, Lord, here we go.
Yeah, please tell us about our friend Clark Kent. Is that when Clark Kent got involved? What year did you?
So it wasn't a bad. What was that? 2000. It had to be the 2010, 2011 range, right?
Yeah, that's when Justice for Shellie stuff started.
Yeah. So, all right. So that happened. So then I found out this Justice for Shellie site started, and I'm thinking it might do some good for the community, right?
Right.
Boy, was I wrong. I'm just seeing nonstop comments, bashing me, bashing my family, bashing this, all this other crap, right? Like, there's literally stuff on there that you can read, and that said that Bobby and his mother conspired to kill them. Mm-hmm. You gotta be like, that is the most sick thing you could say. Yeah. Just ruining my name, throwing it in the mud, mm-hmm. and I'm like, y'all just throwing my family name into the dirt like that? No. Just because people seeing this.
Yeah.
And that site has ruined my life because I have lost jobs because of that.
I do have that question for you. So how does this
jobs have come across
your name?
Jobs have come across that site somehow. Somebody's sharing it on Facebook, and then this, and then my name coming up, and they said, "Well, we want to talk to you about this." Blah, blah, blah. We can't have a criminal here. I'm like, I have not been convicted. I don't have nothing to do with this. And why am I even bringing this? Is irrelevant to my job. I have lost jobs over this. I've lost friends over this because of people opening up their mouth and saying some foul stuff about me. That's not true.
And I think I saw you on there defending yourself.
Yeah.
Times, right?
And then I stopped because it just got to the point where it was a losing battle. It's a lose-lose situation. Like, I can't win. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. I could defend myself to the day I die, but somebody will obviously come up with something to try to piss me off. Yeah. So I stopped responding. And I guess people, I don't know, I had reached out to me from the site, some people that maybe I had known. I didn't know I knew them. And then they had asked me, and then they were looking at the stuff, and they said, hey, well, we're sorry about what's going on that site, but we're looking in another direction. If I don't know if you know these guys or not. And then that's when the 4 guys come up and bang Grant, LJ, Chris, Matt, and Matt Sobro, I think. Chris Todd, Matt Sobro, Matt, that's another one. 5 guys, 4 guys, something like that. And yeah, those 5 came up because they said that they were at a party, and Chris was bragging about what they did to Shellie. Like it was some kind of trophy. I'm like, who goes to a party and says that? And so I'm sitting here hearing that, and I'm like, I don't even remember these guys. I never even met them in my life, so it was all new to me. So apparently I heard a bunch of stories that they were out riding that night, apparently, and saw Shellie. I heard a bunch of stories. Like I said, I don't know which one's true. I don't even know if it's true or not. I don't even know if they looked into it. And my friend, there was a friend of mine that actually knew Chris Twan and hung out with him. And she had sent me screenshots, text messages about what he said. And they had real cryptic stuff on there. Like, stuff about Mary and stuff like that. Just, I gave it to the cops. I said, I know this is made look bad because I'm the boyfriend and stuff like that. But I'm telling you that I have a friend that sent me these screenshots, and I think they need to be in your possession. And I think y'all need to go about this the right way rather than Detective Gonda and Seabold going
looking at you.
I said, look in that direction. I said, that's your key. I said, why are they talking about this at a party? Why are they talking into a message? I said, obviously they have something to hide. Why are they talking about this? Why is LJ dad is trying to get him out of, because every day we're scared to go after him because apparently his dad is a lawyer. And I just heard a bunch of stories, man. I don't know what's true or what's not, but it really got my it's still to this day, I believe they did. I believe they covered it up. I believe their dad or mother, whatever. I just feel like that. Yeah. I feel like they did a lot of stuff to cover this up. And I've said this since that came out. So, and there's been a lot of talk on it on the Shellie site. I know it's down now, finally, after years, because I told the cops too. I was like, you have I said, first you have incompetent detectives on this case that comes at me the wrong way, and they're not going about this case the right way and going to see who actually did this, and they're just wasting time. And then you have a website that you build for a community purpose, and it's supposed to serve a purpose to help people, to guide people in the right direction, to help bring leads and suspects and other stuff like that on the case of people talking about it. You use that site. I was like, you had somebody use that site to start drama and literally post anything they wanted.
Yeah, any thought.
And screwed up the case so bad to where, the cops didn't even know what to do. I said, so honestly, Ivan screwed up the whole investigation. Clark Kent, Captain Sabo, because he would get on there and interview people, going into people's neighborhoods, interviewing people like he was a cop, and he wasn't.
Doing his own detective.
And I didn't understand. I'm sitting here like, how is he? I asked the new detectives. I said, how is this guy not getting arrested? Isn't that interference in a police investigation? Isn't that what do they call that? impersonating a cop too. I'm like, how is he acting like Dick Tracy over here?
Right.
You know, like
Private detective over here.
This is not a private detective. He doesn't have a license.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, you guys need to shut that site down. I said, it is ruining my life. I said, I can't walk in somewhere. I can't meet a girl and get on with my life and, you know, meet her and have a relationship with somebody else and get my life on track, because they always have to, without having to reference that site.
Right.
You know,
type in your full name, all that.
Right. Like there was a girl that I was involved with that I was trying to talk to, and you know, nothing got brought up, right? And then I was hanging out with her one day. She was like, "Hey, I need to ask you a question." I'm like, "What's the question?" She was like, "How do you know a girl named Shellie?" And I'm sitting here.
Oh, motherfucker!
You gotta be kidding me. I'm like, it's like every time they bring that up, it's like, where did you hear this stuff? I didn't even mention it, right? And I'm like, and then I got to go all through the story again, right? And I don't want to do that because I've done it like millions of times.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like talking about it anymore. That's why I just brush it on the bridge, and it's kind of just been a sore subject since. So I just kind of run through it, and I'm just like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to tell you the rest right now. I said, the reason why I didn't tell you is because I've had people just, if me opening up to the truth and telling somebody, I don't know if they're going to walk out of my life. I don't know if they're just going to end up, you know, just ghosting me and then start making false accusations against me. I was like, you got to understand where I'm coming from. It's a lose-lose situation for me. If I don't tell you, yeah, it looks bad. But if I do tell you, it looks bad too.
Right.
I said, I can't win because I can't get away with it. They use it against me either way. Oh, why didn't you tell me this? And so I ended up just keeping my mouth shut about it. But it's like, I kept my mouth shut and she found out about it. Yeah. So I'm like, this site needs to get taken down because I have people coming up to me just randomly asking me, how you knew Shellie? You know, like not too long ago, there was somebody on Facebook, I don't remember her freaking name, and then she was like, oh, I'm investigating Shellie. I'm like, how did you find me? I'm like, I'm like, dude, this is a tragedy. Why? Just leave me alone. You know, and I got to the point, that's why I'm always so bitter about people hitting me up about doing stuff and talking about this, because they use it against me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because that's what she ended up doing. Because I fell for her trap, talked to her, and then she was like, well, you know what? I don't trust you. I don't trust the police. I think you had something to do with it. You just told me from the beginning that I did. Yeah. So it's like when this gets brought up, it's a very sensitive subject because it's hard for me. It's hard for me to just go out there in the world, live my own normal life, and not talk about this. Like if I don't talk about it and then it gets brought up later down the road, it might ruin a relationship. Like, why didn't you tell me this from the jump?
And that would give you anxiety, right?
It's like, so it's like I fight a war with myself. Yeah. Like, do I tell this person or do I not? Because I'm to the point where, well, if I'm going to say something, I have to know that person for a while and know I could trust them. Yeah. That's my problem. I don't know how to trust people because I've been burned so many times, whether it's the cops, whether it's Clark Kent, stupid, you know what? And like I said, it's been an absolute hell. If it wasn't people, you know, up and leaving me, you know, ghosting me, I've lost friends, lost jobs. Or if it's not all that, it's me waking up the next morning and somebody wrote on my car with a permanent marker.
What they write?
Or I don't know. Retard, da da da. I want you to confess. People will go on my YouTube and confess, you know, stuff like that.
In the comments,
yeah. Right there. They said one of my songs that I did, it was actually dedicated to her. It was called "Anthem of a Broken Heart," and somebody had wrote some foul shit about that. He's like, why don't you tell us the real reason why you killed Shellie? Like, on my freaking YouTube video. Yeah. You know, like I'm trying to make a name for myself in music and you're making me look bad. You know? Yeah. So I have this hanging above my head and it's like, damned if I can't even live my life without somebody coming after me. And I've already been cleared. The cops literally, the second time I came in, when I told you I brought them all the evidence and stuff, they said that they could put me in my bed that night.
You had a strong alibi. Right?
They told me that they could put me in my bed that night and that they apologized for them going after me because they went about it the wrong way. I was like, thank you. Finally, somebody could tell me the truth and that they could put, but it don't come from the horse's mouth. It has to come from me because the cops can't tell somebody that because that's going to tell people and maybe get out to the suspect. That's, you know what I'm saying? I felt like somebody was watching me that night. You know how we had the fight and then they had the opportunity of what they did. I've always felt like that night was a very weird coincidence that we had the fight and then that happened.
So you think it was like a calculator or an opportunity?
I feel like it was an opportunity that somebody was watching me. It just seems suspect, you know? But at the same time, like I said, they could put me in my bed that night.
Yeah.
So why people are coming up with these random accusations and stuff, it really, really gets discouraging to hear it over and over and over and over and over. Yeah. When you have defended yourself so many times. Like
it's exhausting.
And that's something that, you know, that people do. Like my own brother-in-law, like the other day, me and him got into an argument about some stupid stuff. And then he was like, oh, yeah. He was like, that's why you killed your girlfriend.
Oh, dude.
I'm like, dude, you know, I'm like, don't you ever speak on something that you have no idea what you're talking about. I said, that's nothing to do with you. That's none of your business.
Yeah.
And on top of that, that's irrelevant to this conversation. Stop bringing up stuff see, people know how to use that because they know it gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets me. It gets under my skin because that's something that you know, that somebody can say to me, but that's not something you joke around with.
Yeah.
Or say something lightly. So yeah, like I said, I can't escape it. Yeah. Everybody just throws it at me sideways and it's like, it really gets annoying.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to deal with all that bullshit, dude.
Like a lot. I wish people knew, man.
So did you ever find that person that dealt with all that shit that was fine with that? You? Are you marrying the kids?
Nope. Nope. Not married. I tried to. And then that didn't work out. She ended up leaving me. And then she also was aggressive and abusive. Physically. Slapped me, hit me, whatever. I didn't do anything. And then cheated on me behind my back. I had no idea she was doing that. And then she up and like just abandoned the marriage. So I kind of just filed a uncontested divorce and no kids, no property together. So
you're
story.
Single. Okay.
Yeah.
He's single, ready to mingle here. So what did you do? Like, how did you get through the drinking? Did you go therapy? Did you?
No,
it's gone.
Honestly,
what was it? How did you get through that?
No, honestly, it was just one morning. I woke up where like I can't do this anymore. I'm like, I didn't like the feeling of what I was feeling. The hangovers, just that scaring point where like, you ever watched The Wizard of Oz? Yeah. You seen Dorothy up in the tornado, spinning and spinning?
Yeah, you see the witch flying and shit. Right?
Exactly what it was like. It was like the Wizard of Oz, and the house was spinning in a tornado. Like that's what I was seeing that night, and then I blacked out. I'm like, I don't ever want to do that again. And then I was driving home drunk. Yeah. I just got to the point where I didn't care anymore. I lost the love of my life.
Yeah.
Over something. Let me put it to you this way. I was cheated out of something that made me happy. Somebody took something away from me.
Stolen.
For no reason. And I didn't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
So I felt like I just didn't care anymore. Yeah. But like I said, when people say that they can't stop drinking, I call bullshit because I did it. It wasn't, obviously it was easy decision. But to start drinking in the first place is because of the simple fact that I didn't know how to handle grief.
Self-medicating.
I didn't know how to handle grief, and I thought that was the right answer. It wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got through it. So, are you full sober now, or do you just
sober
control?
Sober 18 years.
Wow, congratulations. I'm a peer specialist, so I know that's a lot.
2006. Yep, 2006, 2024.
Yep. Nice, speaking. All right. So I want to get some more questions about the family. Early on, it was implied that they were not happy with your relationship with Shellie. Is that true?
Early on,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that came from.
Okay, so were they cool?
They never said anything. They always said that was good for her.
Okay. Okay. What did they like about you? What did they appreciate about you? Just tell
That
me
I
some more
didn't
about
drink, that I didn't do drugs, that I didn't, not into gang activity.
So what her other friends were allegedly into, right?
I'm guessing so.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, with Shelley's past, sorry, I don't call her Shellie. I've always called her Mary.
Yeah, that was one of my questions too. Why do you're the one of the first persons to call
Because
her Mary?
when I met her name was Mary. I didn't know her by Shellie until her mom started calling her that. And I didn't know that. I'm like, why do they call you Shellie?
Our peers all refer to her as Shellie.
Yeah, that's what she's been known, especially through high school and stuff. But I didn't know her that. I never called her that once.
Okay. All right, so back to the parents. So they said that they're like, what about the brother too?
Oh, his brother was cool. Me and him actually, after she passed away and everything, we hung out.
Okay.
We stayed close, but it was hard for me to go to that house. Mm-hmm. Because her brother's room's here, and her room's right down the hall. Mm-hmm. Can't go in there. I just, and then on top of that, where we sat the last time on that guest room, I couldn't even go in there. Mm-hmm. So it took me a long time to go back to that neighborhood or in that house.
Did you keep in contact with the family after?
I did. It was when I got to the point where I could come over and see him. Mm-hmm. I would. It took me a while and it was hard. I ain't gonna lie, but I wanted him to stay because I loved her parents. Mm-hmm. Parents were cool. Mm-hmm. They liked me. I didn't have a problem with them. And his brother was cool too. I didn't have a problem with her brother. But apparently her brother and her sister didn't get along that much. Mm-hmm. He regrets that. I mean, I could understand, but yeah, I don't remember them ever saying that they had a problem with me. So I don't know where that came from, because they never had a problem with me.
That's good to know, man. I'm glad. So did you go to their funerals and everything like that?
And unfortunately, I went to both. Oh Lord, our mother's funeral. That was like the saddest day I can imagine. I'm like, here we have another funeral for the same person in the same family, and her mom does not get to see justice before she dies. Mm-hmm. Granted, I get it. She knows what's going on now because she's in heaven. She's got justice. But on earth, she didn't even get to see any arrest. Yeah. And then not too long ago, later down the road, I'm sitting here doing karaoke at a bar. Mm-hmm. And on the news pops up Mr. Carson passing away. Mm-hmm. On the news while I'm at the bar, so I don't even want to be there now. Right. I'm like, it's I found out. Wow. And I'm like, what, dude? Now he's gone and doesn't get to see. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I went to both funerals. Wasn't a good time at all. It was more of a sad. You had to relive it over and over and over. They don't even get justice. This is bullshit. So I have a lot of animosity towards Virginia Beach police because I feel like they didn't do their job good enough.
Right, first 48 hours.
Because
it's important looking at you.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that too. Like I said, I sit here looking at this. I'm like, am I cursed? I'm sitting here living with this day to day. Year goes by, nothing. Mm-hmm. But a friend of mine gets murdered in Newport News, and they solve his case in 10 days?
Well,
I'm like, what is with this?
Right. We did say, they seem to be very ill prepared in Virginia Beach to deal with murders. They don't really get a lot of murders.
I don't know, but it's just with the technology these days and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I just don't get it.
So we talked about basically some sloppy police work. Do you think they did anything else?
Oh, very, very much.
Did they do anything else to fuck up, you think?
Huh?
They do anything else to fuck up? Right? No, they're looking at you with the wrong face. They do anything else that you know of?
Besides follow me, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there would be times where I go to friends' houses and then they would follow me, and I'd be going out there and they'd be sitting in the corner. I'm like, we for real right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all just can't leave me alone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were some shady cops. I did not like them at all. And but other than that, you know, following me,
Okay, so
trying to get me to confess to something.
Yeah. I mean, it really does sound like they might have tried to got you to confess.
They were
so
trying.
you offered DNA. They're like, all right, never mind.
No,
Yeah.
offered DNA, offered my fingerprints.
No, I never mind.
What guy would do that?
Yeah.
If he had something to hide?
Right.
You know, I had nothing to hide. I know exactly where I was, and I had no reason to change my story.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I never would have done something like that, taking away somebody that I cared about.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah. Take away frivolous.
No.
So you talked about some evidence you handed over to them. What was that?
It was just a bunch of text messages, like screenshots of text messages, that one of my friends knew that was hanging out with her, and they were talking to each other and stuff like that. I didn't know she knew him. She's like, I happen to know this guy, and I actually heard over the part of the. So I was like, hey, do me a favor. I was like, get me some screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to try to get these little fucks because if the cops ain't doing nothing,
Yeah.
and I was like, somebody needs to pay for what they did.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the day I go to court, the day that this gets solved, I want to be able to be sitting in that courtroom and look these people in the eyes and tell them what hell they put me through.
Yeah.
How much crap that I had to go through. How many people I've lost.
Yeah.
How much pain I had to endure. How much abuse I had to endure from the community and this, that, and third. Jobs lost. You name it. Harassment. Just, you know?
Yeah.
The day that I could say that and put someone, and nobody can throw that in my face. Well, at least you killed your girl. Nope. It's all, bitch.
Yeah.
It's not. It's got nothing to do with me.
Case closed.
I can't say that. That eats me alive to this day.
Having a monkey on your back.
It is. It is. And I've kind of given up hope because 19 years. Mm-hmm. I even wrote Unsolved Mysteries. Mm-hmm. Told them the whole story. Mm-hmm. What I told you. Mm-hmm. Gave them the whole list and everything. You know, because I wanted, it needed to get some exposure. But I was on the fence about it because, like I said, I'm just being harassed. Mm-hmm. So I was like, do I do this or do I not? Yeah. Do I put myself on? Do I have?
Right, because it could bring more attention.
Yeah, and I'm like, do I want to talk about this again? But I'm doing it in the respect for her family, and I want justice myself. Yeah. So I was kind of just throwing myself on a limb and trying to see if I could get it, but no, they didn't bite on my admission.
Yeah, a lot of the reasons
I was kind of disappointed. I'm like, this is a big case.
It
19 years. You guys don't even want to take a look at it.
Yeah. Honestly, the real reason I think why it's not going bigger is they won't release like a suspect list, or they really won't tell people. So it's not enough juice for a real production.
I haven't even been down to the headquarters and even asked them like any kind of questions, but they always told me the day we get arrested, we'll be at your house and we'll let you know. Man, I've been waiting for that knock ever since.
So in 2020, they gave us an update, a cold case detective. Did anyone reach out to you since 2020?
Nope.
Since they've done that?
Nope.
So what they released, new information, was that there was a rose, a cigarette, and like empty beer can at the scene. Anything like that speak to you, remind you of anything? Anything else you heard about that?
Nope, because I don't remember her being a drinker. I don't. I never seen her or catch her with any kind of alcohol. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where that came from.
So how did you feel when the media kept portraying her as somebody that was a frivolous slut, basically? How did that make you feel?
It made me feel disgusted. Like, why would you honor somebody but then belittle them at the same time?
Right. I agree with you.
Like, you bring them up in so much praise and then you just trash.
Yeah. It almost negates. I mean, really does negate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, how could you do that? I said, without having any evidence, and saying some real foul, nasty shit about somebody like that.
Because in 2020 they remind us again.
Like I said, this world is disgusting. It's not the same as it used to be, and it's gotten a lot evil since. It really disgusts me when I hear something like that.
Yeah,
for sure. Like, I have no words.
Here at Under the Tree, we're trying to fix that image. But even if that was true, I'm saying it was, no one deserves to be killed, right?
No,
Over something.
I'm not like I said.
that.
If there was something going on behind my back, I wasn't aware.
Right.
I can't say for sure.
Right.
You know, I can't say for sure what she was doing or if she was doing drugs behind my back.
Right.
I can't say that.
Right.
I just know when I'm with her, I don't ever see drugs or alcohol. I don't ever see guys. I don't ever see, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't see her flirting with guys. I don't see her selling her soul or selling her body off and stuff like that. You know, I don't see her prostitute or anything like that. Yeah. So where these people come from with all these accusations, I is sick. Yeah. I don't have any evidence that could support that theory.
Good to hear. So is anyone else you think Shellie might have had an enemy from, or maybe double crossed, or anyone that was like any? Do you think Shellie had any kind of enemies specifically? Enemies? Not like a like an unrequited love, like someone that would really specifically go after.
If she did, I don't know. Nah, like I said, I don't know her to have any enemies. I know she said that she doesn't get along with girls. Mm-hmm. She doesn't get along with females. That's why she had a lot of guy friends. Mm-hmm. I do remember her saying that. Because she always had a problem with me having girls as friends. Because she's not a person that likes females. And that's kind of where some of our fights started too. But no, only Frances Braithwaite, a.k.a. Dunn, is the one that pinned her up against the fence. The one that we went to court. And she put him in jail. It's the only person that I could think of, the one that had an assault charge.
Yeah.
I had no other enemies. You know, like I said, cops had asked me that too. I have no idea. Yeah. And you know, like I said, these 5 guys or whatever, I had no idea who they even were. I didn't even tell them at the time.
Right.
When that happened. Right. And this came out years down the road when I found out about their names. I don't remember anybody. Right. The only thing that I remember is me getting jealous one time when we were together at Burger King because she was out in the parking lot talking to a guy in blue jeans. And it kind of resembled Chris' description at the time. So she might have known him before. Can't say for sure. I can't say for sure if that was him.
Right.
But it resembled his description from my memory. I could be wrong. Like I said, he gave me a dirty look when, like I wasn't supposed to be there, and I was like, "Why are you looking
like you ain't supposed to be?"
No, he just gave me a dirty look. Like he wasn't supposed to respect me as a boyfriend. But that's other than that, dude. I don't know. I really don't know.
So we talked about that person, T. Laughing at a party. I've heard from 2 other sources there was somebody messed up, high or drunk, crying that they did it. Did you ever hear anything like that?
Messed up crying?
Yeah, they're crying, confessing, like in a high, drunken rage, moment that they did do it.
I don't know. Okay. Where did that come from?
Heard from a few people. We'll talk about it offline.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay. So I mean, it could be the same thing as.
No, I just heard the incident where he was at the party talking about it, and then he was. Matter of fact, hold on, drunk. Yeah, he was drunk. He was drinking and talking about it, but I don't remember anybody crying. But I do remember that point. I remember hearing about that, and then I remember hearing about how sick and psychotic he is. Like he tied a kid to a tree and beat him and came back and beat him again.
Damn.
His dog, he did the same thing. Like, what is wrong with somebody like that? You know, like that's what really got me thinking. Like, okay, if there's somebody that would, like when they released her autopsy on the news, I don't know why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because you're compromising the investigation. You put out all this information that the killer only knows.
Mm-hmm.
Now anybody can come to the cops and say, hey, I know this and this, that. And let's say if somebody walks in the police station to say, hey, she got beaten this many times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's irrelevant now because they put it on the news and anybody can tell that, you know?
Right.
I'm like, you're stupid. You've messed up the investigation from that.
Yeah.
Made me entirely sick seeing that. When they put that on the news, it
Was that 13?
I don't remember how many times, but they told her she was beaten in the head so many times that I about threw up. I turned the TV off. I could not watch that.
Did you actually see the autopsy?
I don't even want to imagine her going through that.
Yeah.
You know, like it destroyed me when I saw that.
So that was the first time on TV.
It was
when you got to see it.
Yeah, and I about threw up because it was sickening to hear. Like how many blows that she had to her head. I can't even imagine somebody doing like how people are that sick.
Yeah.
That's what just shocks me about this all. I don't know if this was random. I don't know if, to me it seems personal.
Mm-hmm. Most people would say, especially
because why would you beat somebody that many times and not be personal?
Yeah.
I've always said that. I was like, it has to be personal. Yeah. She has to know this person.
Everyone's crime of passion. I mean, obviously, hits
in the
face usually that many times as well. That person was angry.
It's just absolutely sick. That. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man! So, anything else you want to share with us today? We definitely appreciate you coming on.
No, man. I just, like I said, I just let people know the real side of me.
Like so what made you want to come?
Well, it's just to let people know because a lot of people don't know the whole story. Yeah. A lot of people just get this. It's a bits and pieces. He said, she said. Well, the boyfriend said this. The boyfriend said this. Well, no, I'm telling you straight to your face that I did not say that. You're hearing everything that I know Mary for and when me and her relationship, regarding our relationship, what had happened with it.
Right.
And what had happened that night.
Right.
Like I said, other than that, I have nothing to do with that. I would never take somebody's life. That's not in my nature. And I would never lay a hand on a female. It's just not me.
Well,
I just like I wanted to do it to clear the air because I'm getting tired of people coming up to me. Well, I heard the boyfriend did. I heard this. And I'm like, you know what? Let people hear the truth.
Yeah.
I want to let people hear the truth.
Yeah. I could tell you as a stand-up comedian, there's no more power in just saying your story as many times as possible.
Well, I don't like talking about it over and over and over, but I mean, just...
Well, I appreciate you coming on then because, man, you're brave to share all this shit. I appreciate that.
It's already out there for the world to see, you know?
Yeah. Well, at least we hear it from you, right?
I just get tired of dealing with it. Like I said, I dealt with a lot of bullshit from the thing.
Yeah.
And it's not fair that I have to live with a tragedy in my life. And then get it thrown in your face constantly.
Right.
Like, how do you live your life like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of just put it, that's why I put it past me. Everybody's like, you're so cold. You're going to forget Shellie. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to move on with my life.
You're trying to protect yourself.
I said, I'm trying to move on with my life because every time I turn a corner, somebody's saying something about me. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm tired of like going someplace and somebody bringing up this. You know, let me just live. I understand it happened as a tragedy, yes, but to keep getting it thrown in my face, how am I supposed to recover?
Yeah. Is that a reason why you think her brother's not also coming up or being in the spotlight?
He never was about being vocal.
Mm-hmm.
When I met him, he was kind of shy.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of shy. So he just he's not a people person.
Mm-hmm.
From what I know him. Me being, I don't mind. Like I said, I'm not shy. I mean, I'm an entertainer for crying out loud. So I know how to talk and do stuff like that. Me doing podcasts and stuff like that, I don't mind. It's not a big thing, but it's, there was some doubts about it. Cause like I said, I had to go back and talk about all this crap again. And whether I'm doing a podcast and somebody chimes in and says some foul shit about me and, oh, there's the boyfriend, blah, 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 you got the murderer in your room. No. That's kind of where I was at. I was like, am I going to deal with that?
Yeah.
Because you get deja vu when you talk about this. And you're like, is this a good idea? Is this a good decision? Or am I going to regret this?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I just wanted people to know that I had nothing to do with the whole thing that happened to Mary. Nothing.
And you still wish for justice for her.
I do.
Right.
I absolutely do, because I'll be there in court the day that happens.
Yeah. And appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you for joining us on Under the Tree. We'll be back next week. Take care. All right, that was our episode. Thank you for joining us. Just want to say, leave him alone, man. Leave Bobby alone. Leave Bobby alone. All right, he's been cleared by the police 6 times. After 6 times, all right. He's not a suspect. All right, leave the guy alone. Hasn't he been through enough? And you know what? I'm going to go on a limb here and say that Under the Tree, we clear him. We clear him. I'll bring Spectrum back on here so she can clear him too, because it seems like we love the speculation. But, you know, I'm going to say I agree with the police department, right? Imagine that. Agreed with them. He seems cleared to me. I was there. You know, I'm really good at reading folks. Just based on, not even that, just a circumstance. I mean, wasn't there. But you guys, just leave him alone. Like he said, he's single, he's ready to mingle. And I want you to, maybe, if you're single, hit him up, give him a chance, all right? Nobody wants any crap like this following them around their whole adult life. My God. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play one of his songs that he recommended, because he is an entertainer. And I'm just going to let you listen to that as we say goodbye here. So thank you again for joining us. And please enjoy this song by Tenfo.
Yeah. Oh, no. My arms open wide, and your love I hold tight. My name ain't in lights, famous in your eyes. I know where I stand. Yes, I know your plan. I failed as a man from the nails in your hands. Oh Lord, I need you now, feeling like my world's about to break. I'm praying in my bed with sweat and tears rolling down my face. My life is speeding at this pace, oh God, pump the brakes. Yeah, I'm caught up in the days, being lost up in my ways. Thankful for your saving grace, there's so much I gotta say. Yeah, I'm turning my life around, that's why I'm writing all this down. Cause I'm driven with my passion for everyone who love my sound. Hear my voice is spoken loud and all my walls are breaking down. Turning the mic into a flame, smoking the lyrics like propane. Catch me leveling out this devil's flame, you can't even touch my range. If you catching the time that's on my watch, it's reading 10 to 4 o'clock. You know terrific's always got me live up on the spot, feeling like an outcast coming straight up out your speaker box. Got me seeking another plot, cause I'm gonna rise to be on top. Yo, this message you receiving is coming at you for a reason, cause I'ma elevate my thinking, it's in the soul of what I'm singing. My arms open wide, and your love I hold tight. My name ain't in lights, famous in your eyes. I know where I stand. Yes, I know your plan. I failed as a man from the nails in your hand. Can't step away from this game, it's only the way to escape my pain. I traveled on this road too long, I'm not about to switch my lane. This angel riding with me, taking me back to 86. Got you feeling the Holy Spirit when you bump this in the whip. And with this gripping back on life, you gave me the glue to hold it tight. Got me missing all those nights with my homie Brandon Keller, when I'm dialing up the heaven just so I can say hello. Keeping a candle lit for you, reminding me how when night the boot. Got your spirit watching over me and motive you the truth. Why is everything so close to me? It's something I gotta lose. When I'm clutching up my fish, you know the love is truly missing. Now when I think about a kiss, it's only roses on my lips. And if you had the chance to see my talent and present for yourself, and I imagine that's the greatest story for you to ever tell. God, you made me a better man, ultimately that's your plan. And here's an and his love can't deny. You don't have to hide. Have a savior in mind. You know you've been sold, 'cause his heart's made of gold. Just follow the road. Oh, he knows your way.